Hey everybody, how you doing? I wanted to talk to you today about audio on location. The reason for this is because in my last video about audio, a lot of people asked about audio outdoors, and I think somebody put it exactly, what about audio somewhere loud like central London? So I'm off for a few meetings today in close to central London, the King's Cross St Pancras area. For anybody who knows that, suffice to say it's a really busy area with a busy station where I can be amongst lots and lots of people, lots and lots of noise. There should be some traffic noise from a large main road behind me here already. And people are just asking, how do you deal with that in videos? And this is a really interesting one. And look, this might even surprise a few people, but a lot of people want to get rid of the audio in videos. I actually sort of like to leave it. When you're filming outdoors, it feels really weird when the audio sounds as though it is in a studio and when there is no background audio. And I think that brings people out of the reality that you're sort of creating in your video. Even if it's not narrative film or short film or something like that, where people need to feel like they're in a scene. If the audio doesn't sound authentic to where you are, it sounds really weird. So I'm wearing a chest-mounted mic as I was in my other video. So right here on my chest, just here, it's the DJI Mic 2 for anybody who's playing along. I've also got the Rode Wireless Go with me. I'm going to be doing that outside as well. But I guess what I wanted to do is compare the two and show you in a real-life scenario. How does it sound right now with this behind me? But one of the important things that a lot of people forget when they're making video outdoors is to make sure everything's contextual and everything makes sense. So while it can be really forgiving and you can get away with a lot when you're outdoors, the audio does have to make sense. So I chose this route over a quieter back street because I wanted to make this point. If I was walking along this street and it looked like this and you could only see these houses, it would look really, really weird if you could hear all the traffic noise behind me, which no doubt you can. And this happens a lot in people's videos. This happens a lot in situations where I've seen people making this sort of stuff. They have these beautiful shots with them in them, but they cut out something like a main road like that because they don't want the ugly main road in their shot. But because they still get the audio, it sounds really weird and you don't know why you're hearing cars driving past. So even if you just get a nice, well-shot shot to establish where you are, get a shot of some traffic driving towards you like that, actually capturing that stuff in the shot can make a massive difference because it gives people context and it forgives the fact when loud audio happens in the background. So I'm out here outside the station in King's Cross Square. There's the station right there behind me, and it's one of the busiest places you can possibly come to on a weekday in London. But there's a really important point I wanted to make here using the Osmo. I can't show you, but I need to tell you about it. Is it's pumping with people. There's tourists, there's commuters, there's all sorts of people. I'm standing right under a vent, so background sound there, incredibly important thing to consider. But the other thing is the sheer amount of people. Now you notice I stopped looking at you and kind of start being aware of my surroundings. Particularly in a big city, not so much for anyone who lives in a small town, or maybe, I don't know, depends where you live. But one of the biggest things you need to consider is the safety of your expensive gear when you're out in a place like this. I've known a few people who've had stuff snatched. In London, there's a bit of an epidemic right now of people snatching phones. So I made sure I've got my wrist strap on. And particularly if you are somebody who shoots with your phone, be really careful in these open public environments. I'm keeping an eye out. I'm making sure I'm sort of really aware of my surroundings here, and I'm not necessarily just directing all my attention at you because you don't want to get your phone snatched, your gimbal snatched, your camera snatched, whatever that might be. It's something that is just absolutely awful. Keeping things to an absolute minimum. This is one of the great reasons as well for not shooting with your phone. People are after the financial details on your phone. If they can get into it, and if they can get it while it's unlocked, which it often is while you're using the camera, it can be really, really dangerous. So I'm going to keep glancing around and look slightly nervous as I do this, because I know what happens if I don't. So I'm here in King's Cross Station. It's one of the busiest stations in London, partly because there's a tourist attraction right over here. You've got the Harry Potter platform that everybody lines up to take pictures in front of the cart thing. And one of the reasons I got that establishing shot there before I just came to this, and again, this is something a lot of people forget in their videos, is because it helps set the scene. It helps tell you that there's lots of people and lots of noise and all that sort of stuff around me. So if there's a sudden announcement or someone yells something at their kid who's not keeping up with them,
or anything like that, or there's a dog barking in the background, it kind of makes sense. There is a dog barking in the background, and if I was being more diligent about it, I'd find the dog and get a shot of it just so you could see it in the video, and it made complete sense. But for the purposes of this one, I'm just going to tell you about it. But going from that establishing shot, because right now you're in a closer up shot of me where you don't see as much of the background, it helps excuse any background sounds that pop up, anything weird that happens. If I have to move, it makes complete sense because you know I'm in this incredibly busy station. Getting this wide shot of this square I'm in, not just because it looks pretty, but also because now I've shown you lots of people around me. And so once I've done that scene setting, that I can put myself in scenes like this, there's some kids playing on the steps behind me back here, and what I can do is more or less be sure that, look, if there's a lot of noise behind me, I will probably move on because it will eventually get distracting. But because there is a lot of noise behind me, and I've shown you the fact that I'm in a busy area, it doesn't seem out of place at all. Now, it's easy for me to say that because I'm sort of walking around and moving around and you can see the backdrop, but that's the entire kind of point that I'm trying to make here, is that seeing that backdrop and getting that context for all the sound behind me really helps. There's a bit of construction and stuff happening here. Because I'm wearing the microphone really close to my chest, I don't know how much of that I'm going to pick up. Now what I'm doing here is, even though you can't see any construction stuff driving around, there was a tractor just driving past a minute ago, by me telling you, I'm also creating that context. It's great if I do get shot as well, because that helps you, rather than telling you, just showing is ultimately what I want to do. So this is a great example. Here I am in a really busy area. I've got the mic mounted on my chest right here, as I keep saying in all these different videos. But I've given you the establishing shot of everything that's happening over there. So even if a car does drive past, even if there is any other sort of loud sound, it sort of makes sense. If there was something particularly egregious, particularly loud, I might want to sort of start shooting again. But the idea is it's a little bit more forgiving because I'm outdoors and because, you know, there's life happening out there, and I've shown you in the video that I can get away with that sort of thing. I wonder how loud that was, the ring hitting the concrete. We'll find out. Also, because I'm wearing the mic so close to my chest, I don't need to project my voice too loud, so it's not as embarrassing as projecting your voice to a mic that's potentially mounted on a camera. The other thing I almost forgot right here is I'm going to show you this angle right here. In this space where there's a little bit of echo, there's all these hard surfaces. So wearing this really close to my chest, what it allows me to do is make sure that that echo isn't too bad. So I've really hammered home this point about mic placement being on your chest because it gets you really good audio and it gets you the resonance from the body. Sometimes if you've got clothes that are going to rustle, if you're outdoors, if you've got a backpack with a strap and you need to have that strapped, it's just not possible, it's just not feasible to do that. There's going to be all sorts of situations when you're filming outdoors where that's just not practical at all. So there's other ways to do things. You can use the built-in mic. Now happily, because they've got this backup mode where you can have both recording, I can switch to the built-in mic recording so you can see how much background noise it picks up. I've got lots of people kind of like streaming past me here. I've got a cafe over here. There's lots of kind of activity. So the onboard mic is probably going to pick up quite a lot of background sound. There's like a large group of people having a great time over there, and I'm not too worried because I'm wearing this. But if we go to this mic right here, the one on the Osmo, hopefully you'll get an idea of what an onboard mic might actually pick up. So I'm interested to see, this is a really good test of what a chest mic. I've also got the mic on the device. I want to see whether there's a difference in the audio between the two. Whether you can hear me over the din of this water. So nice test there. So here I am in one of the busiest places I could possibly come to. It's St. Pancras station. I've got lots and lots of people behind me here. I've got the Rode Wireless Go here, and I've got the DJI mic underneath my clothing. Just to give you a comparison of the difference between wearing something on your neck and on your body. You'll probably find to get better sound and less background sound, slightly, from the body-mounted mic. And the one on my neck is going to be picking up all the people running past, all the conversations, all the kids running, all the announcements, all that sort of stuff. We'll put it to the test, actually see. I'm interested to do the side-by-side. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am, based on my experience. So there we go. I definitely wouldn't ever say don't wear your mic up here. I frequently do, and in lots of my videos there is a mic on display on my collar.
but I tend to think you get better sound when it is placed on your body. When wouldn't I do it on my body? Or when I've got a chest strap on my backpack, for example, when I am wearing clothing that's going to rustle up against it, where I'm wearing a big winter coat, where it's going to be too muffled, all those sorts of situations are going to be better on my neckline. But if I can get away with it, I will put it on my body to get better resonance, to cut out more of the background sound, if that makes sense. But let's see how they compare as we're playing this back. All right, so a final little test for them then. I'm in a tube station, about to head home. If you want to know more about using the Osmo Pocket 3, definitely check out my playlist on them. I'll flash that up on screen up here, or do one of those little clicky things. If you want to know more about just general framing and audio, then check out this playlist up here. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and look, see you next time. Very interesting to see the results. Lots of background sound, 2 mics going. Oh, as soon as they start speaking, all the crowds are gone. Anyway, keep this rolling for as long as I can. You can click on my links and subscribe and stuff, which would be helpful.